Good evening, everyone. I will finish this panel with talking about intercomprehension. Mi sentite? No. Yes. And telecollaboration as solidarity-driven practices aimed at rethinking language education. So what is we all know that monolingualism doesn't exist, and the biographies of various children show that, not just adults, but also children. But we maybe don't know, all of us maybe don't know that almost half of the Europeans seem to be unable to hold a conversation in a language other than the first language. So this lack of plurilingual competence seems to be quite an obstacle to able to enable good interaction between citizens and administration. So that's why the Council of Europe recommends to use intercomprehension and to teach intercomprehension strategies. But what is intercomprehension? It is a way of communicating in which everyone expresses himself or herself in one of their languages, generally their mother tongue. It's a form of dialogue, thus, and in which I speak Italian, for instance, and you speak English or French. But generally, what happens is that it works best when languages are from the same family. In this context, we use a series of strategies, and intercomprehension became a teaching approach from the 90s. It's a pluralistic approach, so it puts together various languages, and it is based on three pillars: plurilingual and pluricultural repertoire, personal encyclopedia, and our own abilities and transversal skills. So as I said, it happens among languages of the same family generally, so Latin, Germanic, Slavic, Xenophones, Arabic, etc. And we do use naturally a set of strategies that we can learn how to use better through teaching and learning intercomprehension. So we use top-down and bottom-up reading processes, we use inference, transfer, etc. We had, in the various years, intercomprehension developed a set of books of theoretical texts and textbooks that we can use to develop this practice. In parallel to text and instruments to develop reading comprehension in various language, we developed platforms for telecollaborative international learning and for the learning of intercomprehension. My experience started with a group of people that worked with Galanet, Galapro, and some platforms that were developed basically in France. But now I work in an alliance which reunites various partners from different countries of Europe, but these countries are Romance language speaking countries. In this context, we developed a COIL, a collaborative international learning scenario, in which students learn intercomprehension in the classroom and then interact with other students from other universities around the world in order to learn how to do intercomprehension. So as I said, telecollaboration is a long story which started in the year 2000. So it has 25 years now. We developed various platforms, but nowadays we work on Moodle. This is our Moodle, the Moodle of the Alliance, of the UNITA Alliance. In this Moodle, students work together. So we now have students from Torino, from Chambéry, from Pau in France, from Timișoara in Romania, from Viçosa in Brazil, and from Cuyo in Argentina. And these students interact each and everyone in his and her own mother tongue. So they learned, we developed, we work on a scenario which was developed 20 years ago and still works. In the first phase, the students meet and greet on a forum. And the second phase, they discuss on various subjects that they choose themselves. In phase three, they choose a subject they will work on and they meet in for a video meeting. In phase four, they start working in group and producing a collaborative output. And in phase five, they publish their collaborative work. And this is a screenshot of phase one. In phase one, this is what happens. In these interactions, you can see we have the Portuguese students and Spanish students that replies. Then we have a French student that replies, and finally an Italian student replying. And they're talking about themselves. They're introducing themselves and they're asking each other what they like doing in their spare time, their age, etc. And in this context, what happens in these first interactions is that the students start creating bonds and they start learning to understand the others who speak other languages and they learn to align with them. So they learn how to build a sentence in order to be understood, which words to use, in which order to put them. Because if I speak using subject, verb, object, my interlocutor will understand me more easily. And in phase two, these phases they're going on at this moment. We are now in phase two of the session, in the 25-26 course. And now here in this interaction, they talk about their likes and dislikes. Mainly they talk about the place they dream of. The first student says in Italian that she loves California, and California she left her heart in California. And the Romanian student that replies tells her she has made am făcut pasaportul, so she has made a passport in order to visit China. And îmi place descoper mâncarea locale, so she would like to discover local food and traditional food. And she likes to discover cultura, istoria și geografia. So this is very simple to understand even for an English person because culture, history and geography are based on Latin words that we all understand. The other students wishes her colleague to visit China and to keep traveling in the world. So she wishes her friend something. In the final reply, it's Portuguese students who tells her colleagues that she likes Asian culture, etc., etc. So what happens in this second phase? They share their dreams, they share their wishes, and all the aspects of affectivity come out. Their attention to the other is shown as well. I wish you to visit China. So I listen to you and I wish you the best. In phase 3 and 5, 3 to 5, 3, 4, and 5, the students interact in video. Starting from 2021, we collected around 150 hours of videos. So it would be impossible to show you these videos. And I tell you that we just started analyzing these videos. It takes a lot of time to transcribe and analyze them, to tag, etc. So I will just show you a couple of very little videos. If I can share the sound, I hope so. Finger crossed. Can you hear the sound?
Come va?
Très bien, et toi?
Bene.
Moyen? Moyen?
Oups, pardon.
Bien? Pas bien? Moyen?
Ah, ho male alla testa.
Oh, ok.
So what happens in this interaction? The students greet each other and generally say, oh, hello, how are you? And they reply, fine. But here the situation goes beyond the just the simple reply, okay, I'm fine, and go away. They ask each other, and she, well, not well, medium. He tells her, tell me how you do. How are you now? And she said, I have a headache. She touches her head and she says, I have a headache. So in this interaction, greeting is not just greeting, is showing we care. And in these interactions, there's something else that emerges, is that students really show themselves. Here we have a meme, which was created by a Brazilian student who lives in Portugal, and he talks about himself. He created a meme about himself. So he says, in the sentence, he is very happy. Where is the subject? I will let you hear the.
Meme sobre mim. É meme pouco linguístico.
Oops, sorry, I just skipped it.
Meme sobre mim. É meme pouco linguístico também. E na frase, ele é muito feliz, onde está o sujeito? Na linguística seria, o sujeito é ele, não é? Mas no meme, onde está o sujeito? Está viajando, está feliz porque está viajando.
So the joke is, where is the subject of the sentence? He is very happy. So the subject of the sentence is traveling. It's a joke on the fact that the subject of the sentence is not he, but that he's traveling. So he shows himself and he makes the others laugh. And at the end of the sentence, he uses a word which is carimbos. But in order to be understood, he corrects himself. He says estampas, which reminds them of the word stamps in English. So he uses a word that can be more easily understood. And so these are just very, very tiny little examples. What I will show you as well is that I started conducting an analysis of the feedbacks of the students, which are recorded in their learning journals. And I collected around 500 learning journals, and I tried to analyze, to focus on their cognitive, affective, participatory, and transformative dimensions. And what emerges from my little analysis that I started conducted with IA, with artificial intelligence, is that what emerges is the recognition of diversity, is that they show that they are aware of their metalinguistic capacities. They show their relational and affective dimensions, so their care, their empathy. They show empowerment and confidence. They sort of transform the concept of linguistic competence. I will show you how. They show as well their capacity of co-construct meaning and show solidarity when co-construct meaning. A few examples, very, very little and very quick. So they recognize diversity and go beyond monolingualism. The two students of the example tell us that reasoning and comparing with other languages help them learn things much better. I didn't know I could understand someone who speaks a different language, says the student. And then they develop metalinguistic awareness and they start decentering. I learned not to stop at the first reading, give time to my brain to make connections, and they they connect in some way. So I learned it was enough to learn to use gestures in order to be understood and to be and to verify that we understood each other. So it's more empathetic to speak each and every one in our own language. In the next slide, you will see that they also show empowerment. It motivates me to come to understand without having studied the language. And if when I understood all the text in Romanian, my mother tongue friends, she um, she she greeted me because it was great. Co-construction. So this shows empowerment. The participatory dimension is shown by the fact that they work together and they learn from the others, and they tell us they learn from the way the other reason, and they learn how to build a speech, a collaborative discourse, starting from different languages, because they have to build they have to develop a task, and in this task they have to do something together. So they also learn how to use their linguistic competence. They reformulate with more transparent word, and they learn that sometimes it's more important to speak slowly, to say different words, to use different words to say the same thing, than knowing Spanish to speak to a Spanish person, for instance. So what are the temporary the well the first results of this analysis is that from the cognitive point, well, intercomprehension shows to be a multidimensional practice, cognitive, affective, and social, which reshapes the understanding of language learning, and of the self of the student. From the cognitive point of view, they develop metalinguistic awareness. Language is not a barrier, but is a resource for meaning making. From the affective point of view, they develop trust, patience, because if I don't understand you, I ask you to repeat, and I'm patient, and curiosity. So, how do you say this in your language? Socially, they co-construct meaning, and they show that there are no hierarchies between languages and speakers. From the pedagogical point of view, they develop a sort of strategic ability, uh, and which is very different from a formal monolingual skill. And they develop a very, very strong self-confidence. They know that they can communicate even without a lingua franca. So I'm concluding. So what happens in intercomprehension with intercomprehension and telecollaboration? It develops a pedagogy of solidarity and care. It connects individuals across linguistic, culture, and institutional boundaries. The students themselves tell us. And it can reimagine language education as a space of equity, of collaboration, and resistance to linguistic homogenization. Thank you so much.